Hey everyone, it's Shram here. Today we're going to be unboxing God of War Ragnarok on PS4 and PS5. So let's get right into it and find out just how future-proof this game is. So first we're going to unbox the PS4 version, and what you're going to notice when you open is a advertisement, which is fairly normal. But the PS4 version actually comes with a play disc and a data disc. So because the game has too many gigs for one disc to hold, luckily instead of just a download that you get or have to do when you insert the disc, it gives you a data disc to install the actual data on your console. So the PS4 version even is, to start, future-proof because it is going to give you the full game on disc. No internet is required to actually play the game. Now when unboxing the PS5 version, you're going to notice that there's only one disc. So luckily the PS5 version has discs that are capable of holding, I think, up to about 100 gigs. So only one disc is needed, and you do have the full game on disc, which is very cool. And then of course you have some advertisements and a DLC code. I don't believe I ever used that, so if you want to, feel free. I don't think I'm going to ever put it in. But anyway, that's all we got for the unboxing. So let's take a look at the software. So as you can see, I am not connected to internet, and I installed the game straight from disk, and it came out to about 82 gigs pulled off the disk with no updates, no DLC, no nothing. That is what is offered on the discs, and it seems to be pretty much the entire game. Alright, so the first thing I want to say is that I did play through the entire game. I rolled the credits on the PS5 version. The game was fully playable to completion. Now, whether or not you have bugs that can hinder your gameplay up until that point, that's what we're going to discuss, but I definitely rolled the credits without ever connecting to the internet. The PS4 version I didn't fully beat, but I did put about 10 hours into that specific version without internet, and that was just as playable as the PS5 version, so I assume that to the end of the credits you're going to have a very similar experience, because aside from more detail in armor and just graphical differences, the gameplay experience was pretty much the same through that 10 hours. So I'm fairly confident that what I say is going to apply to both versions. But as far as the issues that I had, there were a couple major instances where my game did crash and I had to restart. There was some weird glitches, like fire glitches, where it looked odd. And then the most notable one, where I wish I had footage of it, but I ended up not being able to recover the recording, because when it crashed on me, it also stopped and erased the recording. The bear fight with Atreus in the very beginning of the game, at the end of the fight, when it goes into the cinematic portion towards the end, my camera froze, essentially, in a fighting camera view, while the cinematic version went on in audio and with the characters. So their animations were essentially happening outside of the screen while my fighting camera just stood in one place. So it played through the entire scene where Atreus turned back into himself and they talked, but then at the end of the scene, instead of just going back to gameplay like it normally would, the game crashed out. So there was a couple instances where this happened throughout gameplay. I had another one in the Realm of the Dwarfs where I went to start a mission and I had to talk to a specific person, went to the right place, and I couldn't find them for nothing. I spent a good 20 minutes probably searching around the area I knew I had to be, and I was very confused as to why I couldn't find what I was looking for. And so I went ahead and just restarted the game, and sure enough, when I went into the pub, the person I had to talk to was there, but I didn't have a prompt to start my mission. And it happened in the middle of an audio glitch. So I had an issue where the sound went out, came back, went out, and then I went inside the pub and there was no one there to talk to. So something happened while I was on my way to there with the audio that really confused the system, and I wasn't able to start the mission. Luckily, with the game restart, it happened and I was able to do it. So there wasn't anything that locked me out from progressing in the game. But there were definite audio issues, a couple game crashes, the bear fight incident, there's the weird fire glitch. There were things throughout the game that were fairly noticeable, where although I was able to complete the game, I'm sure in updates, things like this became much less frequent. Now, obviously, since the DLC came out post-release, if you were to look at it from a future-proof perspective, how can you access that DLC? Currently, the only way at the making of this video is to download it. So there is no complete edition that I'm aware of that has DLC on disc. So unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to happen. It's always awesome when it does, and you can get DLC on disc or through a data disc or something. That way you can have it for the future, as if we're never going to have internet. You know, I don't know that we're ever going to get to that place where we don't have access to it, but it's fun to look at it and see, hey, is this game playable just on the system itself with the physical copy? What do I have in this physical copy? Is it a game, or is it a key to a download? Like older PC games, or PC games currently don't even use physical media pretty much across the board. So knowing that you have the DLC on disc is just fun for those of us who like to collect things and know that the game on the shelf is a complete copy. So we'll see if that happens with God of War. I would love a complete edition. The DLC was very cool. I didn't put a ton of time into it, but I did play it when it was announced and had a lot of fun. The game itself is fantastic though, and on these discs, PS4 and PS5 versions, you do have a fully playable game on your shelf, and that's very cool to know, especially because they're steelbooks. So from a collectible standpoint, you get your steelbook and you get your fully playable game and you're good to go. If I had to give it a grade, I think a fair grade for the future proofness of the game currently is probably a C. I think the game is playable. It's completely there. It was a ton of fun. There weren't enough glitches throughout the game to make it a horrible experience, but at times it was frustrating. There was nothing that locked me out. There was nothing that seemed game breaking, but there was enough to hinder the experience on a couple of the times I sat down to play the game. And then, of course, without the DLC being accessible through the discs, I think you're missing what feels like a part of the game. So because of that, I think C is a fair grade. It's not an F, it's not even a D. It's still fun, it's still playable, but I think on disc it definitely felt like it could have been a better experience. So we're gonna stick with a C. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please feel free to check out the Facebook groups, Collectors of America, whether it be PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Sega, Nintendo, whatever you like. And then I added a Pokemon branch as well, and we'll be doing some Pokemon stuff on the channel. So please check out the other videos as they come out, and go check out the Facebook groups. I appreciate you guys watching. We will see you in the future.
The world that hardens is a harsher winter holds. The parent forced to eat its young before it grows. Every bird gone unheard, starving where the ground is froze. The winter sunrise